Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ocean Outlast Expert. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. We are jumping right back on into things today. And first and foremost, we have some items to address. So, we have been streaming this game save over on Twitch a lot recently. If you are interested in catching up on those live streams, my Twitch is linked in the description down below. I typically am streaming on Fridays. Now that schedule is actually going to be changing going forward. But I also do periodically stream throughout the week. No set schedule right now. It's just whenever I feel like I have time. Because I do obviously record videos. I do have a full-time job on top of that as well. I guess maybe not in that exact order. But anywho, my time is chewed up a lot, so I can only fit in live streams where I can. So if you do want to get notified, highly recommend following my Twitch down below. And you can also check out my Discord link down below as well. So like I said, we have been streaming over on there a lot, and there's a bunch of stuff that we've been doing. Now, not too much stuff that it kind of leaves those of you who are following here on YouTube in the dark, because we do try to catch you up. Now, the biggest thing I do want to address is that I did die over on our Twitch stream, on our Friday stream. It was a rough time. We were having some issues with getting our game running properly, and then I went to take on a battle tower. We had our hunger glitch going, which has been a constant thing in this mod pack, and unfortunately we somehow died. And now in the most recent version, I should say, I think it's version 51, the hunger glitch should be fixed if you die. And unfortunately we did die, so the glitch is now gone, and it was not a fun time trying to get our stuff back, unfortunately. We unfortunately lost a lot of stuff because we were at the top of a battle tower, and the golem, the tower golem guard, just was destroying us, unfortunately, every time we tried to go back. So we had to try to recraft a bunch of stuff, as you can see. Pretty much the same exact tools we were using before, but now we have some different enchants on it, and unfortunately we only have the base tier storage remote. We don't have the next tier up yet. And then unfortunately we did lose all of our stuff that was in our big pouch, so all of our extra tools that we had, shears, coins, keys, are all gone. It was a pretty rough day, but we started getting things back, and we'll gradually build back up to it. Now, a couple other things that we did do on stream. Well, one of the big boys is we changed the base up. So I'll run you really quickly through the base here. But as you can see, it is a lot more extended now. We have two doors here on the front. So we have this one, which is our normal one that we had before. It'll bring us into our main room here. And as you can see, we have now extended this area. We took out the stairs that we recently just put in, actually, and we put in a brand new room here. We're going to utilize this for something eventually, but for right now, it's just kind of an extra spare space. We have another door here that'll lead us in. We have some nice big windows. We also got some of these light gray lamps from Actually Additions up and going. They're pretty cheap to make, and they produce a decent amount of light. So we went with the light gray because they went with the aesthetic pretty well. We did mix up our machine placement here, as you can see. So we kind of shifted things down, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that. The other thing too is we actually got an advanced energy cube up and going. So if you guys recall, we had a base one, a basic one that was storing all of our energy, and these are pretty straightforward to make. The hardest thing is the energy tablets, and you guys recall these enchanted ingots are a little bit tricky. You do need to have the enchanter, and then you have to have a certain number of bookshelves set up to accommodate it. I did do an episode a while back. You'll have to look through the playlist to figure out what episode exactly that was if you are interested. But to make the advanced one, which holds 3.2 MRF compared to the 800 KRF, so really just like this is 800,000 RF, whereas this is 3.2 million RF. That's pretty much what it's meaning, which is way better than what we had. It's basically the same exact recipe, except we need some osmium this time. And instead of the steel casing being in the middle, we now have our basic energy cube in the middle. Definitely worth it to do, and we have some good storage going in here of energy. Now, so much other stuff to go over. So yeah, we got that all going, and then we obviously have some elevators now, as you can see, which are super easy to make. We went over them, I believe, in the last episode, but I'll show you really quick how you got to do them. For us, we did blue, but you can do any other color, and it's just 8 wool in here with this alienus and it'll make an elevator. And this, I believe we got from just throwing ender pearls in there. I think I did actually realize from making more of these, I could throw just one singular piece of wool in there and it would actually make an elevator. So we didn't even need all 8 of them. Now, it might have been fixed by the time you're seeing this, but just so you guys know. And you might be wondering, looking at ours here on the ground, well, we have rotating ones. They do look different, and they serve a cool purpose. So rotating ones are very easy to then get. And it's actually kind of funny that you can have, I don't know if you can actually make this or not. Hold on here. I didn't even realize that rotating ones didn't have the newer recipe. Ooh, okay. Well, that seems to be something right there. So the normal elevator blocks are now adjusted to be accommodating to the expert pack using Thaumcraft. However, the elevator ones you can still make. We could still get it here. Now, I don't need it. I don't really want to waste an ender pearl on it, so I'm not actually going to grab it. But if you already have elevators, which is what we did have, they're pretty easy to make, as you saw, with 2 iron. And basically, you place them in a way that you want to be facing when you use them. So, for example, we have ours facing outward, and the one below it is facing outward as well, out towards the ocean. Now, if I'm facing this way, and I go down, it's going to swing me around to be facing out towards the ocean. Very similarly, if I come up this way and I go up, it's going to face me back towards the ocean. Now, it's really cool to have that, especially when you might have a setup lower down facing a different direction and you don't want to have to be spinning all the time. So for us, for example, if we go all the way down to our smeltery, we would want to be facing in this direction. So if we come up here and we go down, we're facing this way, and now it adjusts us to be facing our smeltery because we have it pointing that way, which is pretty cool. I think it's a really cool mod to utilize, and it definitely helps when trying to get around your own base. Now, the other thing, obviously, we have our storage system up and going here, which is pretty nice. It's been good. I shifted some things inside as well. Shifted things around because, as you can see, we closed off the stairs here. Now we only use elevators, and we finally got our kitchen back up and going, which is awesome. I'm so glad that we have it back up and going, especially now that we don't have the hunger glitch anymore. We're definitely going to be having to utilize more food items. Now, I haven't restocked everything. I have it sitting in a different chest just because I got caught up on other things, so it is what it is. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for over here. Yeah, and we haven't done much over there either, and we haven't really done anything over here. The only other thing is we needed some gold, and from our void ore miner, so I switched out to a yellow laser lens. If you are in need of a certain ore from your void ore miner, look at the different types of lenses. I highly recommend it because different color lenses can help increase your chances of different ore types. So the gold one for us, actually, let me click off there. The gold one for us will actually increase from a 2 or about 3% chance of gold from a clear lens to about a 6.5% chance on the gold lens. So it definitely bumps it up, and as you can see, it does it for different things. Now, if you look through the different colors, it'll serve different purposes. Now, you do need to click over to the right tab, but if we needed more lapis, we could get a blue laser lens, and that would help us as well. And obviously, there's a bunch of different ones. The crystal one helps with getting the litherite and the erodium. So if you're trying to get to the second tier of this, definitely would recommend getting a crystal laser up and going if possible. So I think that is a majority of the things that we did. We've obviously done a decent amount of exploration and resource preparation for our desired tasks moving forward. Oh, there's a little chameleon here. I almost didn't see him there. So, one of the big things that we've had on our list for quite some time now. Actually, what is... Oh, that's for a future thing I was thinking there. We've had on our list for a while now is getting some of this stuff up and going from thermal expansion. Now, as you can see, it takes a lot of stuff and we need combination crafting. Well, luckily, we got it up and going, and that's the one last thing I did want to show you. We did get a nice little setup going for our combination crafting. But before we go down and check it out, I wanted to show you that we have crafted up all of these items here. I have them sitting back in the base. The last thing that we need to get prepped for is this emerald gear. Now, this is probably one of the most confusing things to get into, and I'm so lucky we did it on stream, and we had some help from our own community who had already gone through the process. They knew what they were doing, and they were giving some good advice to me. So hats off to you guys. I really appreciate it, and hopefully now I can pass along this knowledge to those of you out there who are probably going through the same thing. So emerald gear on a runic altar, or runic altar with emerald plates on it, will give you the emerald gear. And we obviously need those emerald gears. Now, or the other thing that we could do is we had the compactor. We could get it that way. That's why our first goal is going to be a compactor, so we can easily get emerald gears. Anywho, so in order to do this, it's a little bit tricky. So you take your emerald plates. You're also going to need your forest wand, which unfortunately for us, we lost when we died. So let me get another one up and going here really quickly. Hold on 1 second. All right, we have our wand back up and going here. Brand new one. I went with purple and blue this time. I'm actually a big fan of purple. But anywho, doesn't make a difference. They're all worked exactly the same. Doesn't matter on how you put the petals in there. So we have our 4 emerald plates. Now what we're going to want to do is we just put them right on the pedestal, or right on the altar, I should say. And I believe we've seen this before where it kind of pops up and is like, not going to work. So here, we'll throw them on here. 3, 4. Gives us that really nasty sound saying, hey, this isn't going to work. And we get a big red X on the progression bar there, that arrow. Well, the way you got to do this is you have to move your mana spreaders. So you got to shift right click on the mana spreader and then do the same to the altar. I'm going to do the same with our other spreader here, and they'll get set up on there. Now, I was doing a little looking around, and it's not extremely clear in Botania, which is a little bit frustrating, on how this process works. Now, it does say that these are supposed to take from a mana pool to fill their internal buffer here to then supply to whatever they're pointing at. But it's kind of weird because you don't actually see that, which is, you know, kind of annoying. It would be nicer if we were able to actually visibly see what was going on here. So what I'm going to do to speed up the process is make use of our nice little automated process here. Oh, and you know what? I have my magnet on. I got to turn this off. Or I got to put it away for the time being. I'll show you guys that in just a minute here. So let's get those in there. And then we got to put our charcoal over there. Obviously, we have more endo flames up and going over here as well. Now, if we look, and you have to look kind of closely here, and we'll cut away and we'll come back so you can see it more clearly. You need to be patient on it, because the progression is not in the arrow. The progression of what is happening is in the gear itself. If you look closely at the top little dent of the gear, you can see it turning to blue slightly. It'll obviously be more apparent once it progresses a little bit more, but that's what you need to look at. So we have the proper setup now to actually get our emerald gear, which is awesome. And I'm guessing F1 actually is working now. Wow, okay, I feel like it's a hit or miss on F1 for us, which is kind of a bummer that it has to be that way. Let's hop up here so we can get a good view of what's going on here, and we'll go into F1. So yeah, pretty cool setup. I'll have to remember where that's at. 14 minutes in. Just because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it later. So yeah, this is going to progress. You can see the blue more clearly now. Now I did want to quickly go over the ring that we made, because I don't believe that I went over it on stream or on videos yet. So you guys are getting a lot today. So we made a ring of magnetization. This thing is extremely nice because it doesn't have a durability. And as you saw, we can put it on our baubles inventory and pretty much completely forget about it, which is cool. Now, I believe with this one, it's a range of maybe 5 or something like that. I don't think it's extremely big. You can bump up to the next tier, the greater ring, if you wanted more range. But for us, this one is better, and it's very, very simple to make. So mainly what you're going to need is mana steel. As you can see, 4 mana steel here with a mana lens of magnetizing. This is made with gold, iron, and a mana lens. And then a mana lens is the same exact 4 mana steel with a glass pane. So overall, 8 mana steel, 1 glass pane, 1 thing of gold, and 1 thing of iron will give you this ring of magnetization that does not have a durability on it, so you can use it as long as you like to. Now, I think I also read it has a nice feature on it, so if you actually drop something from your inventory, it'll pause the magnet for a certain period of time, like a couple seconds, so you're not automatically picking those items right back up. Now, if you're standing right over that item that you dropped, after that time elapses, then obviously you're going to be picking it up with the magnet. But I digress. It's a very nice feature to have, obviously not for our setup right here where we have things dropping onto the floor. Now, as you can see, our gear is slowly but surely turning a different color here. And once it gets a little bit farther down the line, we are going to need some living rock and our wand, if I remember correctly. So what I'll do is I'll let this progress a little bit more. Once it's ready for these additional steps, I'll bring you guys on back and show you what we got to do. All right, and just like that, it is ready for us. So as you can see, we now have a check mark, which I think that might be the most confusing thing, because you see the X and you just ultimately think you're doing something wrong, but it's not that. It just needs to get enough mana in it. So now, as you can see, we have the little plus with a living rock and our tree, our wand of the forest, I should say, not our tree of the forest, our wand of the forest here. So all you got to do is right click the living rock in there, take your wand of the forest and do the exact same. And just like so, you have an emerald gear. Not the easiest process, that is definitely for sure. But it is not too hard. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out, because I know it's a question that often comes up. So now with this emerald gear, we actually have everything that we need. And if you are progressing down this path of actually going into thermal expansion, one of the things I highly recommend then doing is what I'm going to be doing, which is going and getting the compactor first. Because with the compactor, you can then make emerald gears way easier. Now, it does say you need this augment, but this augment's not even that hard to make. So that's why I recommend starting with the compactor. Now, I think actually the last thing that we do have to get is a machine frame up and going, which is why we have our ectoplasm, our specter, right? So this is my nice chest of items that we can utilize for crafting. Now, I think we have everything that we need, because we needed 6 dense bronze plates, 2 blocks of steel, 2 compact item buffers, 2 redstone reception coils, and 2 emerald gears. So we have that. We have our blocks of steels. We don't need that. The invar is for a different item. It's for actually our induction smelter once we get to it. So we can actually grab all of these items because we are going to need them. And then, like I said, we're going to need a machine frame. Now, with this machine frame, we do need a uranium gear, and luckily for us, we already have uranium. If you don't know how to get uranium, it's pretty straightforward to get. You should be getting it either from your void ore miner, or you can also get it from your sieve. I guess really quickly, I can show you guys how you can do it. So they show you where you're using pyrotheum dust in normal crafting, but if you just smelt up your ore chunks, you can get it that way as well. It's very, very straightforward, not hard to do at all. So that's one part of it. Now the other part is going to be these specter ingots. Now these bad boys are not too shabby to make, especially because we did get our ectoplasm. That is the word I was looking for, not the specter. I think I did say ectoplasm actually, so that is what we wanted. And the ectoplasm came from those trees that we got going downstairs. I can actually bring you guys downstairs. I'll show you where I have it set up now. Right over here, this bad boy that's slowly growing in there. We have a specter sapling going in there. And we have a bunch of that ectoplasm because it'll definitely be useful. Now, I do have a request table down here, so it makes things a little bit easier when crafting, especially when we were at that tier 2 of the remote and it didn't have crafting built in. But anyway, I digress. So we need 4 of these. So we can get 4 of these crafted up pretty easily. Well, I guess we're doing 5. Actually, I'll get 6. We'll just stick 6 in there. It's not like we don't have the resources for it, and it's not like we're not going to use it. Now, the final thing that we're going to need is some fused quartz glass. It's just a glass. So all you got to do is take 4 nether quartz in your alloy smelter, and it'll get that for you. Now, I don't think we have any. I can click into here. We actually have 2. So all we're going to need to have is 8 pieces of nether quartz. But obviously, we know that at some point down the line, we are going to be using it. So it doesn't hurt to just smelt up a little bit more. So we'll get this going. The other thing, obviously, that we lost when we did die was our time in a bottle, which is unfortunate because now this is our 3rd time in a bottle that we have. The first one we lost when we were trying to go out and do some exploration. I think I was clicking through trashing things too quickly, and it just ultimately got trashed in the process or dropped in the process, which is a big bummer. Our second one then obviously fell victim to our death at the battle tower. So, and as you can see, we do lose hunger over time. So now we need to eat, and also regeneration does not work the same as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. It was a little bit of a bummer to see because I was enjoying the pack so much without having hunger and being able to regen a lot. Because those battle towers, now that we can't regen health, are going to be extremely tricky to do. So we got a machine frame that is a quest to get done. If we come into here and go to thermal, obviously that's the first thing. We get some money, we get a jackpot machine. Money printer goes burr. And then the cybernetic crate, which we've gotten before. So let's open one of this first, actually. We got some mirror shades. And I'm curious. Sneak right click to open all in hand. Or reroll, okay. I don't know how these work. 2,000 coins. I will take it. I think it's automatically placed into our inventory, into our monies overall collected. And you might be noticing I have a lot more money now. Well, it's because I did have cobblestone generators going, the tier 5 cobblestone generators going, getting a lot of cobblestone up and going and into these task screens that then complete into our setup here, where we have our reward collector, and then we have this output for our all the coins that we get. And I believe I've already gone over this, so I'm not going to go over it again. We have other things to focus on right now. So we have all the components that we need, so we need to go to our extended crafting setup, which is right over here. That's right, we have a nice, cool setup for extended crafting. I'm going to jump up here because I really don't know what screen I'm ultimately going to end up using. And it'd actually be kind of cool if I had everything in place for it. I don't think it's going to let us, but it's perfectly fine if it doesn't. So you might be wondering how this works. So we have our crafting core up in the middle, which we've done before. I have a wireless RF transmitter on here giving it power. And then I have a bunch of pedestals around it. Just like so. Now with this, the pedestals, I think it has to be within a 3-block radius for it. And unfortunately, the other thing that we did lose is our nice tome with all of our books in it, which is a big bummer. There is a extended crafting guide though, so let me craft that up for you guys because this is very helpful to be able to see. So we're going to just get this going. I can open this up for you. So here's a nice introduction to it. Very useful if you're not used to how this works with the extended crafting. We have the combination crafting, and then we have all the different variances as well over here on the side. For us, combination crafting is what we're going to want to do. So it's an in-world multi-block crafting setup where items are combined together to make something else, obviously. So the setup consists of the crafting core in the middle, which you guys saw, and then the pedestals placed around it in a 3-block radius that it says right there. Very useful that all of the key items are called out in red. So you also need to have power to the crafting core for it. And I think that is about it. Right clicking on the side of the crafting core will show you the information, which we did see. And that is pretty much all of it. So that's all the information that we can get from that. I'm going to stick it away for the time being. So we saw that first and foremost, this has to go in the middle. Next, we have emerald gears. Now, I don't believe it matters where you put them in the pattern, so long as they get in there. We can double check on that just to be certain though. So those are supposed to technically go in between. I don't know if we can grab them off. Yes, we can. Cool. So we'll try to put it in the same order. I don't know if it matters or not. And then 6 of our these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I think it was these two smashed between 2 blocks of steel. All right. So steel, boom, boom, and then boom. So now it's working its magic. We get into F1 here. And just like so, we have our first thermal expansion machine. Would you look at that? I'm actually happy. I got up here relatively quick, and I'm happy I put the stairs in there so that we could easily get up them just like so. So if we come back over here, we can just grab it like so, and we have our first thermal machine, the compactor, which will help us tremendously when trying to make any other thermal expansion machines. As if we take a peek here into thermal expansion, even if we wanted, let's say, a redstone furnace, you need 2 emerald gears. If you wanted, I don't know, an arcane, oh, I cannot pronounce that. Let's say a glacial precipitator instead. A little bit easier off the tongue. We need emerald gears. Pretty much every single one, except for some of these other ones here, these kind of smaller ones, you know, like the aqueous accumulator and so on and so forth. All of these normal machines are going to need emerald gears. So this is going to save you a lot of time, which is awesome. And also, I think you can get some good stuff out of it as well. Obviously, you can compact blaze powders. You can just compact different items over like there, like so. You can make plates if you really wanted to as well. Unfortunately, we already have a machine that does compacting for plates up and going, but it does not do that to get the gears, which is a little bit of a bummer. So we have this now. So we have to find a good spot for it. But as you can see, we're pretty much filled up over here. We don't really have much wiggle room for anything. So what I'm thinking is we're going to actually move this bad boy. We're going to take him out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our compactor right there for the time being. Now, I'm sure many of you have already gone through thermal expansion, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. There we go. So if you come in here, you can configure inputs and outputs. As you can see, you can make it be different things. Like your input is always going to be the blue. Your output is pretty much always going to be the orange. Some different machines will have different colors the more advanced you get. And then if you shift left click on the middle here, it'll get rid of all of those. So if I put all of these like this, shift left click, it's gone. So pretty straightforward. Obviously it needs power. But now with this, we can get the next upgrade that we need for it to make emerald gears, which is going to be this gear working die. Now it shouldn't be too hard to make. We just need some lead plates and iron gear, which we can easily get that. One of these servos, pretty straightforward. I should just bookmark this so we can easily get to it and actually take this compactor off of there. A piston, pretty straightforward. Actually, I think we already have pistons if I'm not mistaken, so I'm not going to waste, yep, we already have pistons, so I'm not going to waste resources. And then the last thing we need are some lead plates, 2 lead plates. So if we take these 2, and we could actually use this, I think we can use that machine to just make lead plates as well. So we can throw it in there. It takes a hot minute to do. So I'll let this run. And just like that, we have our 2 plates that we need. So we can come back over here and we can get our augment up and going. So we should be able to utilize this, but we do need an upgrade in order to put the upgrade on it. It's a little bit confusing. So if we go to thermal, we do have to get, where are they at here? One of these bad boys, an upgrade kit. This will allow for 1 upgrade. And then obviously if you move up through the different kinds, it costs different ones. Oof, okay. This has to be done in an arcane workbench in order to get that, to then be able to get that augment on it. So we need Invar, which we have, bronze gear, 2 redstone servos, some crystals. It's actually not too bad. We would just need to get our arcane workbench up and going, which I don't think is that hard to do. We would just have to really look into it a little bit more. But we are nearing the end of the episode here. I should place this back down somewhere, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. We probably could move that. Ooh, okay. I did put efficiency on this pick, so it is extremely, extremely easy to mine things now. So I think really what we'll do is we'll put this here for the time being. It has built up power in it, so I'm not going to worry about putting power to it right now. But we're slowly but surely getting things moved along. Now, the final thing I did want to do before we wrap up the episode is I really, really, really want to get a jetpack going. Now, the jetpack is extremely easy to make. We actually have most of the items that we need. The only thing we're going to additionally need is some plates there and then a back box. So let me get some resources together and then we'll make that really quickly. Alright guys, so we have everything that we need for our jetpack, as you can see here. So just some iron casings, iron item casings, an advanced circuit, a bat box, some glowstone dust. Pretty straightforward. The only other thing you do need to watch out for is you do need some tin insulated cabling along with tin item casings. So you have iron item casings and then tin iron casings, tin item casings, there we go, for the bat box. So with that, we have our jetpack. Now it doesn't have a very high durability at all, but we should be able to throw it in there, get it charged up just like so, and I don't know how long it'll last for us. But to get us going, I feel like it's pretty nice. So just like so, we can take off and move around. Now it does have, what, only 30,000, I think, power in it. But the other thing that we could eventually get up and going, which will probably be in the next episode, is a flux capacitor, because these boys will definitely be extremely useful. They're not hard to make at all, and they can hold power. Actually, they're not really hard to make. Yeah, they're really not hard to make. Let's get one of those going. Just like so. How much is the next one? Oh, that's not bad at all. All right, we're just going to move right up through the tiers here, I guess. We need Electrum for this one. I don't think... Oh, yeah, that's it. We just don't have... I think the only thing we don't have for that one, where I'm losing my spot here, is the hardened glass of some kind. We don't have any hardened glass. Yeah, so we would have to do that. So that's fine. I'm going to grab this, though, because it does hold a decent amount. This holds 4 million RF, which is insane, to say the least. But this will allow us to keep our jetpack nice and charged. But guys, we're way over our time already, so we're going to wrap the episode up there. I hope you all enjoyed. I know it was a little bit of a recap at the beginning of it, but hopefully the next episode is not going to be so much of a recap. If you do want a full recap, though, of things, highly recommend going and checking out my Twitch. But if you did like this episode, feel free to leave a like down below, or better yet, leave me a comment. Love reading through all of your comments. I should note the next episode, we might be starting into PSI. I know there's been a lot of questions over on the Discord about it, so we might try to dabble in a little bit. But anywho, if you are new to the channel, you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. I'll let you know when that next episode does come out. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you sticking through till the end. I will catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.